What was the biggest light bulb moment in your life that changed it forever?
Big, I would say if it's an event that changed my life, God, there's a bunch of them. But number one, my parents sending me to Cardinal Gibbons High School, private school, because I went from going to a public school where lots of people I was going to school with, where as soon as they turn 16, they're dropping out and they're getting jobs working on cars. They're doing blue collar type of things at that point. And then I go to Gibbons, where I'm going to school with all these kids of wealthy, successful families. This is like a completely different type of person. Where at Pompano High, we used to joke and laugh when you did bad on a test. You were cool and popular, and you'd laugh and joke about, oh yeah, I did terrible on that test. But then you go to Gibbons, it's like, oh, you got a C in that? You're an idiot, because everything was college oriented. It was like, was considered a college preparatory school. And then just hanging out with them and hanging out with some of the wealthiest families and their children in Fort Lauderdale. And what it did for me is it made me go, these people aren't any smarter than me. I can be successful like they can. So it helped me to believe that I could become something more. And then I lived in a blue collar neighborhood, and then going from our little, what was it, 1,600 square foot house, whatever it was, to going over to my friends' houses, and he's driving a Porsche to school at 16 years old, brand new car, and they're living in this 10,000 square foot mansion on the intercoastal where everything in the house is nice. Their parents are nice. His cousin, one of my friends, his cousin lived there, and it's just like, I mean, it was a night and day difference. I mean, just the things they focused on, and their goals, and the things that they wanted to achieve in life. And so what was interesting about that is I went to school with friends who come from wealthy, successful families, and had every advantage that you can imagine. You would think, well, of course they're going to be rich and successful too, but it didn't turn out that way. A lot of them just became average, regular people. It's all really about mindset. But for me, it helped me to believe and that I could be just like them. I could do great things. I could accomplish great things. I could succeed. And then obviously, because what was the question about a moment in life?
Like a light bulb moment when you realize it just hits you. Like you realize there was like a moment in your life that changed forever.
So I would say the other big one was when I was out with a friend, and I wrote about this in 3% Man, and I ran into this girl from high school that I had a crush on. And she had a boyfriend in high school, and we became friends, but she had a boyfriend. And then she went off to college. She was a year older than me, and I didn't see her for like 10 years. And then I was out with another friend of mine a year after we got married, because we were down here for Mike's brother's wedding. And so my other friend and I, we were out, actually, it was downtown Broward. It was this place, it was called, it was an Irish place, Dicey O'Reilly's or something like that. And it ran into her and her sister, and it started the wheels turning, because I was like, man, it just reminded me of like what I had dreamed things would be like, the stirred feelings in my soul. And it's, a couple months later, I left my wife. And if that moment would have never happened, my wife was off the pills. She was trying to get pregnant. She could feel me slipping away. And then it's like, I mean, who knows? I probably wouldn't be. I mean, it started this career with this book, and millions and millions of copies that people have read, and it's changed and impacted their lives all around the world. And I mean, the people that I've talked to, people that are literally like leaders of countries that influence the things that at the highest level in society, and being able to influence those people and talk to them. And I mean, it really just started out as a hobby to help myself. I'd say like going to Gibbons, and then, so it was like kind of two moments, and running into that girl. It's just, and I don't, we only saw each other that one time, but it caused the wheels to start turning, and really some deep introspection internally. And I left. If at that moment it wouldn't have happened, I might have stayed. I might be some 300-pound dude living in some cookie cutter neighborhood, miserable, ain't had sex with my wife in years. I don't know. I don't know where I'd be. I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So you wonder why those things happen. It's like we all have a path.
It all started with a girl.
It all started with a girl, like Jimmy Buffett said. There's always a woman to blame.
You don't have to blame her.
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
There's a woman to blame.
I think it's a woman to thank in this point.
That's true.
True. She made a big difference in the world. Well, my wife too, because if my wife hadn't loved me like she did, that grew my confidence and that helped me tremendously too.
Mm-hmm.
So she was a big factor in my success and the success that everybody else that's studied my work has enjoyed too.
Mm-hmm. So it's many women to thank.
Many women, yes.
So kudos to those women.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yes. Cheers, ladies.
Thank you.
Love you, girls.
Oh.